Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. We've talked for many years that we're going to see the military basically, it's going to be up to the military. So we're starting to see it happen now. So President Trump has rolled out the National Guard in Washington, D.C. It's not something new. It's happened before. But he has made statements that he's going to roll it out to other big cities. So recently, they announced plans to send in 800 National Guards into Washington, D.C., and other major cities, U.S. cities, New York City, Los Angeles, Baltimore, Chicago, and Oakland, California. He said this yesterday during a news conference. These are just the beginning. We'll see more of the Democrat hellhole cities, major cities, I think, get National Guard, just like we saw in L.A., right? So it's going to be, it's going to start rolling out. So right now it's rolling out in DC. Now, we've also talked about how we'll probably see a lot of people start to run, right? So we just saw John Brennan, former CIA head. I guess he's ran to Britain or someplace where he thinks he's going to be safe. Now, I've said that these people will probably be tried, here in the United States, and then someone will go and execute them somewhere else, or go pick them up and bring them back. And if they can't pick them up, they'll execute them somewhere else. All right, and maybe they'll be given an execution in absentia, so they're not here. They're tried here. They give an execution order, and execution team will go out and take them out. I've said this almost a year ago. I talked about this, that we start to see a lot of these deep state actors run. So John Brennan has run. How many others have run? We know a lot of these Hollywood types have already run. They're involved in some heinous activity as well. So, the rest are coming. Now, Leo Zagami says that's not going to happen to Obama. It remains to be seen, right? Now, we're going to have Juan O'Savin on hopefully by Friday, and we'll probably discuss that in more detail. Now, one of the biggest shows that I did with Juan was a couple, 2-3 years ago, where he talked about how they were upgrading the basically where people go for their executions, I think, in the future. The island, right? So the resort, YMCA place, right? So let you guys think a little bit. What might that be? Where might that be? So he talked about how they had upgraded. They had 2 courts there. It could be televised, and they built new facilities there for like geriatric types, because we know a lot of these people have gotten older. So I think part of the process, Gitmo, yes, very good. All right, so I figured somebody would figure it out. All right, Gitmo. All right, Pam Ward wins the Thinking Cap Award today. All right. So Gitmo, I mean, we talked about it. Everybody's probably, Gitmo, you're talking about Gitmo, but we need to say it out loud, right? You guys need to get involved and say it out loud, right? Say it like you mean it, all right? So you mean Gitmo, yes, Janet. So, of course, what else would I mean, right? But there are other places that they've been going to and will be going to. Guam, I think somewhere out in the Canary Islands, maybe up into the Arctic region somewhere. So put them on ice, all right? I think Hillary went up there. She was put on ice. So I think, a lot of these people are also going to probably commit suicide, or they're going to be suicided, because the people that they're probably going to be going for, like Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, Ghislaine, she's in a minimum security prison now, so she could almost like walk out. Like, what's going on with that? Something fishy, right? So she went to maximum security to not so much. And so I don't know. Maybe they're going to like do a little bust out of her. She's going to escape, and or she'll be escaped, something like that, or somebody come and get her. Who knows, right? So it's very, very, very suspect, what they're doing with her, putting her in minimum security. It's almost like, well, she's talked, and now we're going to like reward her. I don't know. It seems very, very suspicious to me. And in Texas, probably in the middle of Texas, where it's you got a long way to get away, right? It's a long way to get away, and maybe they'll like see who might try to break her out and then get them, right? So get somebody else involved, but there's still military guys. I see them make their comments in some of the posts that I do. Former Navy SEALs will come in and make. Are they still former Navy SEALs? They'll come in and make comments because I talked about how there's different levels of the military. Now we have SEAL Team 6, which is like the pinnacle of the guys that do the best, the merit based. You're basically selected, and then you go through a rigorous course, and then you go to a team, and then it's rigorous at the team. If you go to an assault team, the assault team is a pinnacle. So I was at Red Squadron, but a lot of guys don't make it. A lot of guys want to go, but don't make it. A lot of guys get in trouble, and I've seen guys get in trouble over the years, SEAL guys, and they kind of disappear. And I saw guys disappear, and when I went to SEAL Team 6, I was like, oh, there you are. I where it's like a home reunion again for when I went to SEAL Team 6. But there are people that are part of the bad side, guys, that go to the bad side. All right, these guys are wannabes, and they don't make the cut. So someone comes along and says, we got something for you. And then they go and get involved in the bad side, right? So the unmerited side, right? So I see these guys come in and make their comments in my shows sometimes. And then they have the little minions that come in. They're part of that, deep state apparatus that come in and, quack, they make their little comments. So we still have a lot of bad guys out there, guys. Now, for someone like John Brennan, who's now run. Now, when John Brennan was in the CIA, he was surrounded by a lot of minions, right? A lot of minions. When James Clapper was around, he was surrounded by minions. All these different guys. All right. So Hillary Clinton, when she was there, Obama when he was there. Now that they've stepped down, they've been out for a while. They don't have those minions, right? They do have a minion group, of course, that's probably supplied with this dark military side. I've seen some of these guys that have been part of their details, right? You guys probably know some of these people too, pointing them out, right? So I get some of these guys come in and make their comments. I'm like, you're part of that group, aren't you? You're part of that group, aren't you? So no, these are worse than trolls. These are worse than trolls. These are guys that are part of a military unit that can be deployed to do bad things, right? And they're part of the dark side, right? Now, some of these guys, because I've talked to some of them, believe that they're going into an up and up group, and then they get in and they find out it's not, right? And then they slowly back away and get out of it, right? But once you go into one of those organizations, or someone like me that openly talks about, some of these things, we're watched, right? We're watched, we're trolled, we're, all kinds of crazy stuff. We're threatened in different ways. Our families are threatened, our friends are threatened in different ways. So It is a war, guys. So some of you guys, when I say the military will get involved, be aware that everything is compromised. And if Trump and team is going to use military, remember, there's compromised military in everything. So they have to be they try and be selective, but it can be infiltrated. And we could see some of these military units that will be deployed to some of these towns, cities, like DC, like Chicago, like New York, Baltimore, wherever they might go, Austin, uh, you name it, LA, San Francisco. It's like so many Democrat hellholes out there, right? Chicago, right? So in Chicago, you have Pritzker has already said that, Governor Pritzker has already said that you don't have the right. Yes, he does have the right, Pritzker. He's the president of the United States, and if he wants to send troops into your little PS state, it will happen. And in your little PS city, Chicago, that's overrun with crime. So it will happen. These guys will talk. They will have their minions that are around them, and they'll try and create some problems. And then some of their minions that have infiltrated, police, military, and so forth, will cause problems. So imagine a military deployment, National Guard, whatever, into Chicago. And then you have a few subversives in that National Guard unit, and they start shooting innocent people, right? So then you're gonna have problems, right? So that's some of the things that are going to happen, right? It's going to happen. We already see it happening in Gaza. Gaza is out of control. We had a military guy. I just listened to Tucker Carlson. If you haven't listened to the one Green Beret that he had on, Green Beret officer, this guy talked about how there's only like 4 or 5 sites where they're distributing food, and they only distribute food like maybe 15 times a month, and they're supposed to be distributing food every day. And then the Israeli military are like, what are you guys doing giving food to our enemy? And then they shoot over their heads, they shoot at their feet. Of course, some of those rounds actually kill people and children, right? So this former Green Beret officer was talking about, a very, very brave guy. Of course, he's being attacked like I get attacked, right? So you reveal the truth, you try and do the right thing, and you're going to have this dark side that's going to attack. They're going to attack us, and you're going to see us getting attacked, and you're going to be like, well, I'm not going to do that too. So, but you have to, because if you don't, like people, there's not as many of us now. If that continues to happen, then there's going to be less and less and less and less of you that will stand up. I mean, look at Canada. Canada's a great example. Canada, they're basically locking everybody in their homes because they're saying, oh, there's wildfires everywhere. For your safety, we're going to make you stay in home. And if you go out into the wilderness, we're going to fine you $25,000, right? So, I mean, they had the trucker convoy that destroyed everybody that was involved in the trucker convoy. We had J6. They destroyed as many people as they could. They were still putting people in prison. And when Trump came in and pardoned all those people, Dr. Kirk Moore that I had on, thing, he's one of those guys that stood up to the COVID soon. So he's going to get millions of views, and he's going to talk about how up less than a month ago, they were getting ready to throw him in jail for like 35 years because he went against the system. So those of us that go against this system get attacked still, constantly. So you have to be aware of that. So if that's happening, those of us that are, I know a lot of you guys look up to us like, you guys are great and You're like, you're making the difference. Thank you for revealing information. It comes at a price sometimes. It comes at a very steep price sometimes, right? And but still, I'm here to inform. I'm here to serve humanity. That's the way it was when I was in the military, to protect and serve. So everyone is like that. Well, not everyone. There's some people that are in it for themselves, obviously, and for their deep state bubbas. So there's that. Now, just like I said, you're going to start to see people run. You're probably going to see some of these organizations that have been behind the scenes, whether they're in the SEAL secret groups, whether they're Delta secret, I mean not Delta, but Green Beret secret groups. I'm sure there's one of those. Air Force, Army, everybody's got some kind of secret group, guys. Right? It is what it is. And now, will those groups be taken out? Will those groups be squeezed? They're gone, right? It is a possibility. I can see that happening. It's not gonna happen overnight, right? So still, these guys are out there. I've been watching these guys, attack me for a long time, in different ways. Follow me and all kind of crazy stuff, harass me, my friends, and everybody else. And a lot of them don't even know they're being harassed by these guys, right? So it is what it is. So secret societies, that's right, Donna or Dana, Army secret group, secret society, Pan statue in his yard. So statue of Lucifer in the harbor of New York. I mean, it's in our face. That thing should be brought down, right? Now, I was listening to one psychic. He said he saw that the hand that basically holds, if you turn that torch upside down, looks like a penis, or you could look at it and still see it's a penis, right? Because they're all into transgender stuff, right? Because that's the way Lucifer is. Lucifer's transgender, right? You look at the statue of Lucifer, not Liberty, Lucifer. It's got boobs. It's got the jaw of a man. See that jaw? That's a man's jaw. And he's got hips of a man. And he's got a shackle on his ankle. It's like, so it's basically showing us who we basically represent here in the United States, unless we take that down. And then all the stuff in D.C. that was put in there to basically honor all the Egyptian bad side. Right? So it is these guys, the Shriners and the Masons and all that kind of stuff, infiltrated as well, right? So infiltrated as well. I grew up in. I remember when I was driving my car, my dad's Cadillac, and he had Masonic and Shriner symbols on the rear bumper. I was driving it to his wake. We're doing a ceremony in honor of his life, and so I had his ad, and these guys, and I see it out the corner of my eye, see some, they're like, they're signing me, right? So they thought I was a Mason or Shrine or something. So, and either, like, come on. Well, you guys are saying I'm glitching, buffering really bad. All right, so let's see if I can fix that. All right, so in the past, when I used to talk about the Masonic stuff, both channels would go down. So I'm still able to put this information out, but just be aware that there's still tremendous you know, loss of freedoms, still tremendous loss. They are set up to win against us. Their little minions are running to different countries now. Who knows how many are going to try and escape? I said this over a year ago, before Trump even came in. I said they're probably going to start to run because we knew this was coming, right? We knew that the military was going to get involved, and now the military is getting involved. So the military, National Guard is in D.C. It's only a matter of time before, and they were in L.A. I think there still are. It's only a matter of time before they start to go into these other demonic, states and cities, right? And demon rat hellholes, right? So they're going to fight. They're going to fight, and they're going to have their minions. They're going to help them, right? So I don't know. Maybe Masonic groups, or I don't know. How about you Masons out there? Get on the right side of this and just take down the people in your groups that are bad, right? So it's probably not going to happen, right? Because you guys are all one brotherhood, and it's not the way it works out. But maybe, because I know a lot of you guys. I have a lot of friends that went into the Masonic order. I respected my dad and my uncles and all that stuff that were in the Masonic order, and the Shriners and all that stuff, and they were good men, right? But I knew there was a creepy side to all that, right? And I'm not going to go into detail about all that. All right, so that's what we're seeing now. I see the creepy side in the military. I pointed it out to you guys. It's there. These guys subvert the good military. I'm sure they're given missions just like the good military, gets missions, just like we're sending National Guard in. They're probably going to have these subversive, secretive military groups, and they probably have a facade where we do this, and we have to stay secretive. But in the background, just like in the CIA, in the background of all of us doing the good stuff, in the background, we all saw these assholes doing bullshit in the background. And because everything's compartmentalized, and you can't get out of your little box that you're in and say, hey, there's a problem there. There's none of that. If you did, and some guys did, boom, gone. So you don't have a say anymore. So you can do the best you can with what you got, and hopefully you're doing so much good that it overrides the bad guys doing their bullshit, or not. So Donald Trump is going to put military into the big cities. All right. So enough of that rant. I've talked about this before, but you guys, you need to understand this is a major problem here in the United States, and not just in the United States. It's a huge problem in Canada. I feel for the Canadians. They really have the Canadians by the throat in Canada right now. They had us almost by the throat here. If we had gone another term without, I think Donald Trump was basically working in the background while Biden was there. But if we had not had that, if Hillary Clinton really had gotten in office and she did have power, it would have been catastrophic for not just the U.S. but the world. Right? So it didn't happen. So we're good. All right. So Russia is really moving in Ukraine. So I've talked about this for quite some time. Now, on the eve of Russia and America getting together in Alaska, there's other things afoot here. It's not about the Ukraine war. There's something else going on here that it's eventually we're going to start to reveal. Right? So you need to be aware that there's more going on behind the scenes. NATO is in a frenzy because they're not involved. The other NATO countries, it's just Russia, and it's Putin and Trump. Right? So they're all like in a frenzy. What are they going to say? What are they going to talk about? They're going to make decisions without us being involved. Yes, the United States is the biggest contributor to NATO, and we'll probably see those guys come out of there, and I think Russia's going to continue killing Nazis, guys. I've seen that for quite some time. I don't think it's going to stop. So we've already seen Zelensky say, and I think he's probably got the backing of NATO, because I think NATO's doing an emergency meeting tomorrow. I think Germany's calling an emergency meeting of other NATO groups without Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is doing his own thing. So they're going to do their own thing. So they're got an emergency meeting. So what do you think they're going to say? They're going to back Zelensky, because they're all in with Zelensky, because they have to defeat Russia. Because when Russia threw off the deep state and they started to expand in Russia and take out all the other deep state actors in Russia, they had to have a way to go after them. And Ukraine was going to be that way. So they want to continue to fund and support Ukraine. Now we still have problems in other countries like Poland. Poland is polarized. Poland is polarized. All right, so they're 50-50. I don't know, maybe 50% Nazis in Poland too, because we know all those concentration camps where they supposedly burn Jews. Supposedly, I think they did, and starved them to death. And it wasn't just Jews; it was other groups as well that were undesirable in Europe. They sent them there to those concentration camps. And once they were ineffective in being slave labor, they just started burning them. Right. And they were doing testing on them, MK Ultra testing. That's what came to the United States with CIA. Of course, CIA is basically the Gestapo that came over. So it's like, wow. Once you start to figure all this stuff out, it's like, and you try and tell everybody's like, that's stupid, because it makes so much sense. I have to say it's stupid, right? So yeah, I know it's easier to just play dumb than actually take responsibility for your country being involved in some very shady stuff, and the CIA very, very much needing to be I said it should be obliterated, but at very minimum it should be 60-70%. Now Eric Prince, former Blackwater owner, and speaks very good. He sees a bigger picture. I work with Eric in a lot of places, put him through training. Really good guy. Of course, they come after him too, and trying to tear down his credibility. It's and when did Blackwater really get taken apart? Well, that's when Hillary came in. So Hillary and her little group basically killed Blackwater, right? So with Obama, and because it was going good. There were some problems, but they were working them out. And but once Hillary and Obama got in there, they destroyed Blackwater, because Blackwater. Imagine if Blackwater had continued. Now, like I said, there were problems with it, but if Blackwater had continued, had refined itself over time, then instead of making ice, it could be Blackwater. All right, so Blackwater goes in. Blackwater's already trained up. Blackwater's already got good people. So now we have ice. All right, so ice is like the new Blackwater, right? And we'll see how that works out. Blackwater had problems. I think ice is having problems. They're going to have problems, and they're going to get big. And as they get bigger, it's going to be hard to manage it. It's hard to find good people to manage this stuff, and you're creating a new organization that's growing. It has more and more responsibility, and you have to bring in the talent. They have to get on board. They get trained. They ideally they have some kind of background. Some might not, like happened with Blackwater, and then you start to have an implosion. So at some point, the military gets deeper involved, not just like we've already seen the National Guard, but the Marines, right? So Marines are very effective at going out and closing with and destroying the enemy, right? So I don't see that happening with our fellow American citizens, but definitely it's happening with the people that have been brought in that are terrorists that are planning to cause a lot of problems in these major cities. So that's the reason why Trump is bringing in the military into these cities. A brilliant move. It's a brilliant move. I thought that it wasn't going to happen until conflict started, but he's using the excuse, which is a good excuse, that you have massive problems. It's these Democrat cities are absolute hellholes, right? We all know that. We all know that, and we're frustrated because they continue. The only way to change that is to bring in a military grade force, right? That comes in and basically starts in. And National Guard is not really military grade, right? So they're people that basically train on the weekends. A lot of them were former active duty, and they come over and they continue the National Guard. There are very, very good people in the National Guard, but overall they're not keeping that level of you know crispness, I guess, that you do when you're full-time military, right? You're constantly training, you're deploying. They deploy occasionally, they train occasionally, and the training is not always that good. I went to the Navy SEALs, have a National Guard type Navy SEAL group, and I went there and I helped train them one time, and they were like, they were so happy that I came and trained them because it was high speed, hand-to-hand program stuff, and it was like brand new, is cutting edge, and they rarely get that kind of training. So that's what we're getting with the National Guard guys. When I was overseas in combat zones, you see the National Guard, and they're all like wide-eyed. They're like scared as shit, and they're on machine guns. It's like, that's scary. And they pull triggers when they shouldn't have. They weren't as trained, right? So we don't want them to be doing that with American citizens, right? Like that one Green Beret is talking about is happening in Gaza, right? Innocent people are dying. So imagine. So he said his group is paid lots of money, billions of dollars, to feed. At one time, they had 200 UN distribution sites. Now they have 5 in the whole country. 5, right? So he was, I guess, one of the guys was kind of one of those manager guys like I talk about. And he was going in and he saw there was some problems. So some of the guys, even his guys, were shooting into ground, were shooting in the air. So I saw this sometimes in Blackwater, right? You had less than skilled people that were out there in very, very volatile situations, and they got out of control, right? So you don't want that. So he's talking about how they're supposed to be feeding them every day, at least 1 meal a day. They're only coming in 15 times. Imagine that you only get 2 meals a week, 2 meals a week. So even President Trump said they're starving the Gazans, right? And it's obvious. It's obvious they're doing it, right? They're slaughtering them. They're starving to death. They're slaughtering them every chance they get. Even the contractors that are there, that are supposed to be distributing food, are like loose cannons as well, shooting like monkeys, just like the. So it's kind of like the National Guard, right, of the Israeli Defense Force is there controlling the situation instead of making signs and making like rope lines where you guys need to come through here and get your food and then go out this way. They shoot to control the people, and of course they're killing them. Every time they distribute food, they're killing people. It's insane. So they're distributing food in combat zones. I guess that's so they can get away with killing people indiscriminately. It's out of control, guys. So we don't want that to happen in America. We don't want that to happen in the big cities. But there's a very good chance that it will, right? Very good chance that it will. So we need to be looking at that. Like I said, there are going to be some of these groups that aren't good actors in the military that probably will be getting involved and causing problems and making what we know needs to happen as far as like going after terrorists and rapists and murderers that have infiltrated our country on purpose because the Democrat Party wanted that so they could destroy America. So now that we're going to try and put military in those cities before things get out of control, it may still get out of control. Right? So I'm just, and then everybody's going to blame the military. They're not, because we're starting this before things get out of control. Now, if things got out of control, everybody's like, put the military in, solve this. Now we're going to put the military in first. Things are going to get out of control, and they're going to blame it on the military. And so you got to see how this is possibly going to work out. It could potentially be a negative. Even though it's positive, I see it as a positive. It should be a positive. But if you don't get the right people in, it's gonna be screwed, right? So yeah, we'll talk about that. We're gonna keep talking about this. We have been talking about this for well over a year and a half, 2 years. We knew this was coming. I think this is brilliant work by the Trump administration. But again, we know how they flip this stuff and try and make Trump like, he's going after they're going after Epstein and Ghislaine and exposing all this stuff. And there's even bigger things that are being exposed. All these people are starting to run, right? So run from America. That's another indicator, right? That's another indicator that all these people that were all vocal and are still vocal overseas, because I see them basically passing information through their statements. We have to be aware of that. So if that becomes obvious and evident that some of these people that have left are still working to subvert America and they're passing code and so forth through some of their statements, which I've already seen, if that's revealed, then, like I said, they'll be tried in absentia, and then a special forces group will go and grab them, or an FBI group, or whatever, and bring them back. Or if they're already tried and they're found guilty and they're going to be executed, just go execute them, right? They try to run or whatever. So I don't want to do what they did. I don't want it to turn into that, lying and killing, indiscriminately. So we need to do this right so that we're on the up and up. And if we do that, then we'll be able to continue. But if we start to make mistakes and start to do stupid, then, and that's why I think things are very slow and methodical, so that we don't do stupid, right? We don't get somebody in there that's going to do stupid. So they come in and they come in hard and heavy. Like we're hearing all these people talking about arresting all these Democrats, in Texas. Has anybody been arrested yet? Not that I'm aware of. Now, the most recent thing is Paxton, who is the Attorney General in Texas. He is saying that Beto O'Rourke should be. So he says, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton on Tuesday filed a motion to hold Beto O'Rourke in contempt of court over his fundraising efforts for the Texas Democrats who fled the state over a redistricting effort. So I guess they're like, they made all this hot talk that they're going to they're going to send the FBI to go arrest them. They're going to be arrested. They're going to send marshals to arrest them. Didn't happen. I guess those guys are still in Illinois hanging out with Prickster, right? Prickster in Illinois is the worst the worst of redistricting in the country. And then, of course, California is probably second, and we have Gavin Newsom threatening that, how dare you redistrict like we do, and we're gonna redistrict even more, right? So it's quite a crazy show out there. So is that part of like revealing? I don't like empty threats. I don't like when you make promises that you're going to do something and you don't do it, right? So if you say you're going to arrest these people, you damn well better go do it, all right? Because then you lose all credibility when you don't. So that is another problem. This tough talk without any action. Got to stop that bullshit. All right. If you're going to tough talk, you better back it up, or don't tough talk. All right. We're getting sick and tired of that. And we have a lot of people that are, having issues. We have, people in DC that are saying it's a good thing that President Trump brought in the National Guard. Of course, in DC, they're saying, oh, we're at a 30-year low. So we know the Democrats manipulate figures, because they did that with the jobs report. We just had an accurate jobs report that went back like the last 3 months now, and every one of those months were like massively revised. Right? I mean, ridiculously. I mean, you have to be we were saying it. I've been saying it for a long time. These numbers are manipulated, and the jobs numbers, people that are unemployed, are catastrophic. And the Fed, that's one of the things that they look at. One of the major things to look at for the economy is if jobs are creating, we got to cut rates. So the reason why they haven't cut rates is because jobs have been up, but jobs have really been catastrophically low for months. Now we just saw, and I wonder if that's manipulated, but I don't think so. Maybe we just saw where an inflation rate is up high. So if you raise rates, then the inflation rate is going to take off like a scalded monkey, right? It's going to go boom. So you're, on one hand, you're lowering rates to, stimulate the economy, make credit, cheaper, so people can get, and the federal government doesn't have to pay as much interest on the money that they owe. Maybe credit cards go down lower. If you get a car loan, which hardly anyone's getting now, they're like, so many people are walking away from their car loans. So many people are walking away from their credit card debt. It's getting pretty crazy out there. So if you raise rates, it squeezes the economy. If you lower rates, it's supposed to stimulate the economy, but it will make the dollar cheaper than it already is, right? So President Trump wants to do that. He thinks with his tariffs and with the dollar cheaper, it will stimulate the economy more. We will see. We will see. For my experience, when they start cutting rates, that's when things start to crash, right? Because everybody sees, they have to lower interest rates, so the stock market's like, oh shit. Then they crash, and the NASDAQ crashes, and then crypto, which is tied to the NASDAQ pretty much, will crash, and silver and gold will go skyrocketing upwards like they do every time the stock market crashes. All right, go back through history, 1929, the 70s, the 80s, the 2000, 2008, all these different times that the economy, the stock market crashed, silver and gold went through the roof. Now, silver and gold have been massively suppressed. So that suppression looks like it's about ready to come off. They can't control it anymore, so it's going to really take off. And then when the economy starts to obviously crash in the stock market, which is the last thing that will crash, because the economy is crashing. Jobs are crashing. Housing prices are crashing. Real estate, everything's crashing. And so last thing to crash will be the stock market. Last thing that gets manipulated throughout time, that's in a bubble, and the biggest bubble in history, the stock market, that bubble will burst, just like it has, over time. In the meantime, roll the dice, roll the dice in a casino and see how you do with the stock market. Or, do something safe that's going to be like incredibly outperforming, and get into silver, which a lot of billionaires are getting into, all right, and millionaires, and the average person, a lot of people are getting into silver. So, of course, my guy is Dr. Kirk Elliott. So KEPM, Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. So what else? What else is standout with this craziness? We're going to see quite a lot of problems. Now, I've said that we're probably going to start to see armies march through residential areas and start killing people. All right. That's not happening yet, but we're at the point where that is happening on a certain level. All right, so let's watch this.
Coming in of home break-ins, not one, but two through the San Fernando Valley, one of them ending in violence, gunfire.
They took everything.
This was the chaos left behind after burglars ransacked this Encino home a few weeks ago while the family was away, stealing 3 cars packed with anything the thieves could grab.
Police trying to calm fears, neighbors demanding better response from LAPD.
We were coming out of the car. My son immediately said, "Who's that?"
The realization hit fast. Ortiz says the men had just broken into her home and were running off with more than just spare change.
LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell saying that he's promising an increase in patrols in Encino. He believes the string of crimes happening there was connected to an organized crew from South America.
What were you saying earlier, just life in LA?
It's life in LA.
So these recent...
All right, this is Cash Jordan. Cash Jordan has been blowing this up. Good job, Cash. So constantly disclosing and showing how, let's put his face in there.
Burglaries in California have yielded no arrests, but sometimes when these criminals get caught, turns out they're here illegally. And what nobody...
All right, so there's a lot of us, revealing this stuff. There's a lot of really good people. Cash Jordan is interesting, yes. So obviously he's interesting to a lot of people. He's got over 1 million, subscribers, right? So if I'd never been, taken off 17 different times, 17, great number, right? 17 different times from YouTube, I'd probably have millions of subscribers at this point. But be that as it may, at least I'm still here, alive and well. Every now and then, I know it's kind of holiday, but I'm still alive and well. So, Edgar Winter, remember that one? That was a good one. So they were like albino twins, and so Johnny and Edgar Winter. All right, great rock and rollers. All right, so little blast from the past. So Cash Jordan, right? Cash Patel. Right? A different spelling for Cash. But Cash Jordan is basically, and Cash Patel are revealing. We have a lot of people out here revealing, and it doesn't seem to be making that much of an impact because we still have these massive problems. We still have these governors. We still have these mayors. Soon we'll have a mayor of New York who's a communist that is going to destroy that city, that Luciferian in the harbor city. It's crashing, right? It's crashing. People are going to be escaping from New York before there's the movie Escape from New York, right? So Trump will be sending in the National Guard into New York before it becomes Escape from New York, that movie, right? People probably already escaping. Well, I'm sure people have already been escaping from New York, but it's still crazy. What? How many? 18 million people in New York? Something crazy. I don't know, but it's quite a few, and once you see the National Guard show up, you should be saying hallelujah, but will you? And if you're not saying hallelujah, then it's you're probably in league with that guy that's out there in Harbor, Lucifer. All right, so the Luciferians. All right, so that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a lot of this stuff, present itself. People are still not getting it, even though most of us are. Most of us can make a difference. The ones, not most of us, the ones that are. I mean, it only took like what 5%, 10% maybe of Americans that basically, we had the revolution. We were split even during the revolution. So a lot of people think that the revolution, Americans rose up against the British. No, there was a very small contingent of people that rose up against the British and the Loyalists. Right. So there was a lot of so once the British were thrown off, the Loyalists still stayed. Right. They didn't go back to England. So a lot of them did that were wealthy, ran to England, kind of like probably some of those guys that are running right now. So the revolution is happening here in the United States, guys. It's on. It is a slow roll, but it is happening, and it is making a difference. Now, Trump said the Fed should cut interest rates, like we're talking about. Besant, brilliant man, probably the best guy we've ever had as Treasury Secretary. He's saying the real thing now to think about is, should we get a 50 basis point rate cut in September? That's a biggie. That should just the talk of that right now is sending the stock market up. The stock market is defying all logic right now, and it's going up. So it's going up that wall of worry. So it does really well when everybody's like, oh no, it should be crashing, and then it goes up because it's thinly traded. So the manipulators can really crank it, and then the people that are shorting the market or doing put options or whatever, they get stopped out and they have to sell, and they sell at a loss. And then the people that are manipulating the market higher, it goes higher again. So that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a lot of manipulation in this market. So the bubble keeps going. It keeps going. And soon it's going to blow. Get out of there. It's going to blow. It's kind of like that Monty Python movie where the guy's eating, the big fat guy's eating the restaurant, and he's cruel to the waiter, and the waiter is like bringing him all this food, and he's eating all this food. He's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and he's like, "Would you like dessert, sir?" And he's like, "No, I can't fit another. How about just a little mint?" And he's like, "No, it's like the best mint. You've never tasted the mint like this." And he's like, "Okay, give it to me." So he gives him the mint, and then he goes boo, 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 and everybody's running, and he blows. All right, so that's the stock market, right? It's a bloated fat ass that is eventually going to explode, and don't be around when it does, because you're going to get slimed, right? And if you're invested in it, you're going to lose it, right? Because that thing is, when it does blow, it's going to sink very quickly. And what will do well? Not Nvidia. It will be down. Not Apple. It will be going down. Not the crypto space, because it will be going down. Because have you noticed that every time the stock market crashes, the crypto goes with it? So it will not be going up. And what does go up? Silver and gold. Burl Ives from that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie. I don't know why it's stuck in my mind, but it's fun. All right, so is it going to be a 50 point? I think it's possible. So the stock market is betting by the end of the year, there's going to be a total of 75 basis point cut at this point. And there's like some crazy 85% chance that there's going to be a rate cut in September. So with that, we're already seeing the stock market crank, and it will crank probably like it normally does up to that point, and then it will, like that last mint, it will blow. I don't know. Maybe it will defy all odds again and just keep going up. It's possible. Why not? Sharon, you saw that? Yeah, he's gonna blow. He's running. And he's like puking, and they're like have puke buckets for him, so he'd eat and he'd puke, and he'd eat more and he'd puke. And the people are coming in and cleaning, with mops, and everybody's like in the restaurant. They're like, "Oh my god!" So that's kind of what we're seeing with the stock market right now. It's disgusting. So what else do I got? Trump is considering a lawsuit against the federal chairman. He really wants that guy out of there. And he's saying Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, he's going to do a lawsuit against him for all the billions that he's spending. Said he should have only spent $50 million to fix up the Fed buildings, and I guess he's spending like $3 billion of taxpayer money. All right, so Trump's pissed. Trump's a real estate guy, and he knows he's got the eye, right? He saw the Twin Towers falling. He's like, those buildings. I remember him, they're interviewing him while he's walking away because everything's shut down. So he's walking away, and he's like, those buildings were really well built. There's something very strange going on. So, and he hasn't really talked about it since. There's like some kind of code that you can't talk about 9/11. If you're in any kind of office, it doesn't matter. You can't talk about 9/11. And if you do, when you get in office, you can't talk about 9/11. All right, so no one talks about 9/11 in office. None of them. It's very strange to me because it's very obvious that 9/11 was manipulated. All right. So for whatever reason, there are things that are off limits to both sides, and 9/11 is one of those. So why is it off sides? Why are they not able to talk about that? So anyway, $3 billion for a job that should have been a $50 million good. So Powell should just resign from the position. So there he goes again. He's finding all these different things. So he's just going to keep piling it on. He's going to throw another straw on that camel's back until the camel's back breaks. Right. And he runs out. Stop. I'm leaving. Stop it. It's like, finally. I remember that when I was a BUDS instructor, when I knew there was a certain individual that needed to go bye-bye, I had to be very, I couldn't like expose myself for like, trying to get rid of them. But I just target them in different ways. Right. And then eventually they would just look it, and then they'd quit. And it's like, all right, good. All right. Next, who else is a shitbag here? So that's what Trump's doing. That's what Trump is doing to Fed Powell. And of course, he does that to other people as well. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. He's got a lot of people that he works on. He keeps throwing straw on their backs. And that's an excellent way to do it. It's a way that Russia is destroying the Ukrainian army. Instead of like rushing in and, dying to kill them, all they're doing is like, just basically taking away, they cut their supply routes. They put a little pressure on them. They bomb them. They drone them. Aircraft bomb them. Glide bombs. All kinds of bombs. Blowing them up constantly. And now, just recently, they took in some incredible amounts of like 19 kilometers. 19 kilometers, which is what? How many miles? Like 50 miles, something like that. So they moved in just all at once. So billions of dollars of your tax money, because I don't pay taxes. No, I pay taxes too, but not like normal. Right. So when I buy something at the store, I'm paying taxes, state taxes. So I pay taxes to the states, I guess, because I don't have any other recourse. So I could go in. I'll buy this car, but I'm not going to pay taxes. Yeah, it's just I haven't figured that one out yet. But there are there was a lot of money that went over there, and a lot of that money built billions of dollars worth of defenses, and there's no one left to be in those defenses, right? So when the Russian army comes through, they're just like, "Where's everybody? Let's just keep going." So that's the way it is now. They're just like taking up real estate now on a massive scale because they've consistently piled. They're like, "Oh, you built this $1 billion, it stretches out long, and you can't even put but 5 people in it. And so what are you going to do when we send 100 people in there? You're not going to be able to defend it." And so they run like Powell. Why did you bet $50 billion or $50 billion? You're going to fix all this up, and you're spending $3 billion. Where's all that money? Where's it all going? So and it's like, so he runs away. James Clapper runs away. The pressure's on. The pressure's on. They run. They're running, and some of them are going boom, and some of them are somebody's coming up and going, "We're going to make it look like you went boom, but we're going to do it to you because we know you're going to talk if you get caught." And there's going to be so many people disappear. We won't even have to do these trials. All right, it's going to be great. So it's what's coming. So the collapse, like I said, of the Ukrainian army and Russia pushing. Now, when Trump and Putin talk in Alaska, what are they going to talk about? What are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about how much more time you need. Right? How much more time do you need? I can only hold these people off so much longer. They're on my back. I'm trying to make it look like you're at fault and Zelensky's at fault sometimes, and NATO's at fault, and I'm like they're going to buy stuff from me to but it's not going to get there for 9 months. How much time you need? Come on, let's get this done. All right, so that's what you're going to talk about really, and then we're like, well, how can I help you? I have to censor you or fine you or tariff you or something. So I gotta make it look like I'm doing something. All right. So what's not going to hurt you? If I do something, what's not going to hurt you? What can you deal with? So that's what they're going to be talking about. All right. Sergeant Randy, you miss your Marine Corps days. Semper Fi. All right. Once Marine, always Marine. Right. So that's good. Thank you for your service. Thanks for all of you guys that served out there. That did good. That are good. All right. They're bad people in the military. We all know that, right? Did you serve in the military? It's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. Oh, okay. All right. So I guess you didn't serve that long, or you weren't watching, you weren't looking, you weren't paying attention. So there's going to be a big turnaround very, very soon, and the deep state is on their heels. We're seeing it now. We're seeing people that are running. It's becoming very obvious. We're seeing the military, at least the National Guard and some Marines, Semper Fi, that are going always faithful, that are always faithful, right? So now, are the Marines compromised? Yes, right. The Marines are compromised too, guys. Everybody's compromised. But of all the forces that I work with, the Marines seem to be the best, right? As far as like ground combat, there's no one else in the world better than Marines, right? So if we get the Marines focused and put them in the right direction, they're going to kick some butt. So now in the United States, we have cartel control. So at some point, those Marines are going to get focused on, like we've talked about, on those cartels across the border. Now, that could help the president of Scheinbaum, isn't it Scheinbaum, I think, Jewish, Jewish Mexican president. Wow, great. That's, and a woman. So it's quite a mix. Attractive woman, very highly intelligent. I have a lot of friends that are Jewish, but even the Jewish people now are saying, "What kind of Jew is she?" So just like I would say, well, what kind of SEAL are you? what kind of Marine are you? What kind of and a lot of you guys are like, that's not even, you can't even say that. It's like, oh, that's the problem. That's the problem, right? So you have to, like, everyone is possibly compromised, guys, in my book, until they prove otherwise, and they constantly prove otherwise over and over and over again. All right. So yeah, I'm going to work with people like I have, throughout my whole life and career. But I'm always speak softly and I carry a big stick, right? So, all right, so that's it. That's it. We will see this thing start to unwind for the deep state at a faster clip. We will see these villains that are going to be taken out at a faster clip. I think there's going to be these people that run, they're proving themselves, they're showing themselves as they run. And I want to see more of them run. So at least everybody sees, yeah, these people are running. Now, when you see someone run from America, they're not American, right? So if you're a really true American, you're going to stay here. And if you think that, Trump is bad, you should stay here and do your part to, I guess, be a Trump derangement syndrome person, right? But you're going overseas to, coordinate overseas and keep your mouthpiece going overseas, some of these people. And that's what we're seeing. Rosie O'Donnell saying some very suspect stuff just recently, right? So it sounds to me that she's telegraphing something. That's what I think. So we have to watch these people, and when they do something really super suspect like that, knowing what I know and how these people are, I'm like, they're telegraphing something that's code for something to start. All right, let me see if I can find it. Rosie O'Donnell comments recently. Criticism: Rosie O'Donnell shares her latest ramblings on Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. 8 hours ago. Let's see if this is it. All right, it's not giving me the video. See if we can find a video. Videos. All right, here it is, I think.
Linear binaural devices uses dual mode stimulation to soothe tinnitus. Linear.
Rita, what craziness has been going on in the world?
All right, so we got Sky News Australia. They're the ones that basically, I love the Australians. They're the ones that can, like, come over and hammer these people that are unhinged and out of control. So Sky News, thank you, Sky News, for your work. Love you guys down under. I know you guys are basically not as bad as Canadians as far as like getting hammered, but it's up there, right? So let's look at this latest unhinged rant from O'Donnell. Hopefully it's the one I was referring to. but she says she's got some code words in here. If it's the same one, let's see. I don't want that one. I do want that one. There we go.
Rita, what craziness has been going on in the world of celebrities?
Well, I think we'll start with actor Mandy Patinkin. He's actually a very good actor.
Good actor. Great
but
voice.
I'm not sure I'm that interested in his thoughts about foreign affairs. Let's have a listen.
I ask Jews all over the world to consider what this man, Benjamin Netanyahu, and his right-wing government is doing to the Jewish people all over the world.
How long do all of the voices against this horrific administration have in terms of their careers and ability to make money? Because this madman, this mentally incapacitated, physically ill, mentally ill man is spiraling out of control.
You know what's fascinating about this is that Rosie O'Donnell, guys, she is taking up all of the lines that were true about Joe Biden and trying to turn them around.
That wasn't it. But there's one out there where she's basically says something like crazy. She repeats it. And so that's funny. She's saying they say that she's saying all the things that applies to Joe Biden. And she's, saying it's Donald Trump, because that's what they do. They always like point out, to the other side, what they're doing wrong, how they're Nazis, how they're, slave owners and racists and so forth, but what they are on a massive scale, right? So yeah, it must suck to be her. Absolutely are on the lake. So there's going to be continued little things like that. So watch the little things that are happening out there. In my X, I've made some comments, and they're getting different types of traction. Right? People are attacking me for revealing some stuff. So it's very interesting to see it here in YouTube. And in Rumble, we have a good group of people that basically take these people out. Of course, there's lots of people in here that help promote me in here. We got Tron in here, and a lot of other people, Janet, and a lot of you guys that promote me while I'm doing the show. Thank you. So I don't have to do it as much, because we know on a lot of these other shows there's a lot of promotion going on, but not so much on my show. All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, and I will see you guys next time.